Hey y'all, what's good? Welcome to another video here on the Political Chop Shop. Those of you been with me most of the day, we have been chopping it up in multiple places at once because, there's some things that always need to be said, right? So again, I want to give a shout out to all my supporters and all that good stuff. And if you're so inclined, you think the information I'm handing to you right now, someone needs to hear, share it on social media, do the thing, right? Click the like, subscribe on the channel, and recommend it also, because I don't do this for for money or what have you, right? I do this because I feel I have information that needs to be out there, and you're watching and listening to this is proof of that. So I appreciate you. So I appreciate you sharing that, etc. If you're not part of our Patreon, make sure you go check out our Patreon at donate.bpmg.us. We have I have a exclusive podcast on Patreon called The Constitutionalist Quill, where I break down all of the clauses and articles of the Constitution from the historical context of the whole thing. So, take a gander at that, check that out, all that good and all that good stuff. There's a whole bunch of goodies and stuff over there that you can participate in there. Even coming down to giving me advice on what stories to cover and things like that. So make sure you do run over there to over to our Patreons. It's coming up here, but you can check us out over there, and I would greatly appreciate that very much. So what I want to get into is the left's obsession with this white supremacy, right? I mean, it's actually like it's ludicrous. I mean, the complete obsession with this is just, for me, it's mind-boggling, and I'm just being honest, right? I'm being completely honest here, because it seems like this boogeyman always comes out of the woodwork when it's politically expedient, right? Preying on minorities in this country's deep instilled what I call historical PTSD. A lot of you have heard me talk about this historical PTSD, right? From being told you were slaves and you weren't nothing, and all this stuff from 300 years ago. It's good to know history, but we have to live in the moment in time, right? And yes, granted, I'm not denying that there is issues that still stem from that, but to live in that mindset only keeps you prisoner in your mind, right? And we have to learn how to get past that and foster people to get past that, to to give them the mindset that they can take a part of take a part or be a part of the American dream, right? Now, some of my critics will say, I might have a silver spoon in my mouth and this, that, and the other, and I really don't, right? I grew up in a town in the deep South of 321 people where we were the only black family in the whole town, right? Talk about looking at white supremacy in the face and facing that stuff every day growing up. Yeah, folks don't even have a clue what it is to actually live through it, right? But I'm going to digress off that. I've talked about that in a previous video I have done, so you can go check out one of the two previous videos I do have up on the channel here, and I kind of get into that just slightly a little bit, but not too much. But what I want to do is I question, right? I question the genuineness of people calling out this so-called white supremacy, and we have seen this, right? Starting back, let's go back. Let's look at the Nick Sandman situation, right? Look, Nick Sandman, right? How they portrayed him. He's in a MAGA hat, right? Red MAGA hat, white supremacist automatically, right? And he wasn't doing nothing but standing there, right? And a lot of us made mistakes on this one because we're, oh, wait a minute, come on now. Really, is this what we're doing? And after the rest of the earlier video came out, oh, it was on like Donkey Kong. It's like, oh, so these cats over here, these black Hebrew Israelites, are sitting here calling these teenage kids faggots. I'll probably get dinged for that one. I apologize, but you know, because YouTube is touchy, but they was calling them incest babies and things like that. And I'm like, why would you say that to a child, right? Why would you say that to a child, right? And so now everybody's like, oh, well, you know, he had on a MAGA hat and this, that, and the third. I don't care if you got on a bread basket hat, right? You shouldn't be ostracized for the articles of clothing you wear. I'm sorry. If you are that emotionally wrecked where a color and words on a hat trigger you, you might want to sit down and stay in your house inside your four walls. I'm just saying, I'm just keeping it raw and real. Y'all know how I do already. If you don't like what you see, just as much as he has a right to wear that hat or anybody else, you have a right to walk away. But no, you want to be the oppressor, right? Yeah, and you want to talk about white supremacy and people being oppressed. Well, in these situations, you are being the oppressor. Now, is this learned behavior, or is it the fact that you want to practice the same behavior that you think you were taught or that you were told about? I mean, you got to pick one position on this one. You can't. You got to be one way or the other. Either you want to be the oppressor, or you're going to leave folks alone. But Nicholas Sandman, that law team, Barnes law team, sued CNN for millions of dollars. I think it was $250 million. You guys made, because of you guys' cancel culture nonsense, you guys made this man a millionaire by 18 years old because of your cancel culture nonsense. See how it comes back to bite you in more way than one. You know, it's you reap what you sow, right? You reap what you sow. But I don't think y'all gonna learn. Y'all ain't gonna learn how this is gonna turn on and spin back on you because you think you have the moral high ground when reality slaps you back in the face. It's like, you know, that karma thing, right? Karma is the best thing to equalize principles, because what you do to somebody is gonna come back to you every single time. Every single time. There's no doubt about that. It might come long, it might come short, but it will come back for you. So you should always stick to your principles. You don't have to worry about karma and people coming after you the same way as you went for them. So we go along here and we see that. Oh, Journal Times. We're looking at the Kyle Rittenhouse situation, and how now they have turned around and said that Kyle Rittenhouse is now a white supremacist, and you know how Joe Biden did an ad about this with this candidate talking about white supremacy. Y'all listen at this nonsense.
Are you willing tonight to condemn white supremacists and militia groups and to say that they need to stand down and not add to the violence in a number of these cities, as we saw in Kenosha and as we've seen in Portland?
Really, is that where we're at? So now Kyle Rittenhouse is a white supremacist? Is that where we're at? What is it about young white kids that are 16, 17 years old that are white supremacists? You see the obsession there with the children and white supremacy? They can't get no grown folks pulled up on no white supremacy, but you want to tag 16, 17-year-old kids as white supremacists? Come on. How disingenuous can you be? How disingenuous can you be to even float down that road on a raft with holes in it? I mean, seriously, people, seriously. Think about this a minute. So now their law team, he's got L. Lynn Wood on Twitter. They're suing Joe Biden for this exact ad. They're suing him, and he's got a pretty good libel case. They label white supremacy on the kid in the video on a campaign ad. Man, I'm telling you, these guys don't quit when it comes to this obsession with white supremacy, right? They don't stop a lick. But see, how about some hypocrisy here, right? Let's throw some hypocrisy in the mix here real quick, right? I don't know if y'all have heard or whatever, what have you. There is a very prominent sports journalist that was fired from his job. Shout out to my man, Jeff Charles, for writing this article on redstate.com and keeping us up to date on that. But the sports reporter called Tim Scott Uncle Tom. Let's read this real quick. It says a sports reporter recently lost his job for hurling a racial epithet at Senator Tim Scott after the presidential debate. Fred Gertney, who worked with News 12 Network, used the slur because of the senator's reaction to Donald Trump's response to a question about white supremacy during the debate. In a now deleted tweet, Gertney referred to Senator Scott as an Uncle Tom, which is a favorite for leftists who lack the mental capacity to make a cognitive argument when confronted with a black conservative. Thanks, Uncle Tom, he tweeted, responding to a story in which the senator speculated that President Trump misspoke during the question on white supremacists. In the video, Scott suggested that the president clarified his comments, which the president did in a Wednesday interview with reporters on the White House front lawn. News 12 Network's Gertney, former employer, released a statement announcing that they have parted ways with the reporter. After reviewing the incident, the network released sports reporter Fred Gertney as a result of a racially insensitive comment, they explained. News 12 Networks has a zero-tolerance policy for racism or improper conduct based on race and prides itself on being an objective and unbiased multi-platform news company. Now, here, listen to this one. Gertney, he issued an apology on Twitter Wednesday evening saying, earlier today, I tweeted a racially insensitive comment when I referred to Senator Tim Scott as an Uncle Tom. I apologize to the senator, my colleagues at News 12 CT, and anyone else I might have offended with this deeply offensive tweet. And then, look at this. Oddly enough, the sportscaster's apology tweet has been deleted. The reporter has also shut down his Twitter account. I really, like, talk about hypocrisy. Now, I don't see nobody bringing heat on this one. I don't see nobody bringing no heat on this. Y'all want to sit here and jump here like all Jiminy Crickets and be mad about Trump and his white supremacy and all this, but you ain't jump on this when they call this brother Uncle Tom, right? Where you at? Where you at on this? I mean, it ain't no need for an apology. You said what you said. You blatantly typed those keys out. Thanks, Uncle Tom. You knew exactly what you were doing, Mr. Gertney. You know exactly what you were doing. You knew exactly what you were doing. It wasn't a slip. It wasn't any of that. It's up here. It's the environment you've been bred in. To be able to come out of your mouth and call another black person Uncle Tom. And I say the same thing to black folks that call other black folks Uncle Toms. What part of your lips to say something like that? I mean, the hypocrisy is real in this. And people have made it okay for people to hurl insults like this. Like, it's cool. It's not cool. It's not cool at all. And if you want to stop this quote unquote white supremacy, you need to get out there and do your part and be like, no, what you said was wrong, period. Don't be scared to talk about race issues. Don't be scared. Because it's going to be there. And we need to have a better understanding to have a more perfect union and a more civil society. But until then, until the race hustlers stop with their white supremacy nonsense, their white supremacy narrative, it's never going to get better. and that is honest. We have an opportunity right now to make this better for everyone. We're a lot smarter than we were coming out of the 50s and 60s and 70s. We're a very smart society. We can figure this out. We just need to understand that people are trying to keep us divided to continue this narrative, right? So I'm going to swing you around to something beautiful that has happened, completely counter the narrative of the whole white supremacy narrative. We have in my home state, Utah here, Black Lives Matter North Ogden and the Proud Boys of Salt Lake City have formed an alliance, and they had a press interview today. I'm not going to play it because it's pretty long. It's like 11 minutes long, but this is monumental. This is what we're talking about right? The unity aspect that we talk about. This is it. This is it. This is what we're talking about, right? They want to keep us separated, right? They want to keep us apart, right? Because we will never solve the problems if we don't talk to each other, right? And I'm gonna dive into the article just a little bit. A Salt Lake chapter of the Proud Boys gathered at Washington Square Wednesday night to try and change the narrative that they're racist. They appeared with Jakari Kelly. She is the leader of the Black Lives Matter Northern Utah. It's a chapter that is unaffiliated with Black Lives Matter Utah, headed up by Alexis Scott. I don't care what color your skin is. We're all Americans, and we need to find a way to come together instead of divide, said the local Proud Boys president, who goes by the name of Seth, who declined to offer his last name. It's a line seemingly at odds with an organization that the Southern Poverty Law Center and the Anti-Defamation League say is a hate group. We are in no way, shape, or form white supremacists, said Thad, the group's chief, who also declined to provide his first name. And Thad is a good friend of mine. We've met at a few rallies and stuff, and we've got together and chopped it up. So he's good people. I've met Jakari; she's good people. And she's sensible. I mean, we all don't agree. Obviously, we all don't agree with what each other say or what we believe, but we all still have a common goal, right? And it's that equality aspect. Make sure everybody is equal, treated equally, and that's starting with police reform and anything else going on. So I'm looking forward to seeing this partnership bud and more people jump on board with this, right? But this is the beauty, ladies and gentlemen, of America. This is the beauty of America, because we have the ability to come together and understand each other in conversation. And see, we have more in common. We just have different methods of getting to certain points that we want to get to. Some want it really fast, and some want it, obviously take the slow road because there's, roadblocks in play, right? And this is the best thing, for Americans. This is the best thing for America, because the establishment does not want to see us come together and overcome these narratives that they throw in front of us every single time. So I appreciate y'all very much for coming through and listening and watching. Make sure you share this on social media. Make sure you right down here, make sure you hit that little subscribe button down there and all that good stuff. And I want to say stay blessed. Stay highly favored always. Right. And we will see you again here on a political chop sometime in the near future. Peace.